Congratulations, Patrick. Obviously, we also have with us tournament host, Mr. Jack Nicklaus. Jack, I'd like to start with you, if I could,
Sure.
and just say you've got a star quality champion here, and you obviously gave him some advice by the sounds of it that has been talked about out there in the ceremony. Just if you could just elaborate on that for the folks inside.
Well, I really didn't give him any advice. I mean, Patrick came to me, what, 7 years ago, was it? What was your first year? What first year you played here? 212?
No, that was 17. But I won the Nicklaus Award in 11.
Yeah.
And then I didn't play the tournament till 17.
Well, really? Was that 17? Has that only been 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Did that? Really? And Patrick came to me and he just asked me, he says, how would you play the golf course? And we sat down and I don't have any idea what I told him, but you know, he's played it well. And I've always been a fan of Patrick's. I thought he had a great amateur career. He's had his problems in the middle. I see him a lot at down at the Bears Club. Patrick's a member down there. And I like to see the young guys play well. I like to see them come along. And if they need any help, I'd like to give them help. But, you know, anything that I would have given Patrick has been about that much, okay? And that's what I told him when he came in. He walked off the 15th green, and I said to him earlier in the week, I said, let's figure out how to finish this golf tournament, you know, and enjoy it. And he walked off the 15th green with a smile, and I said, I think he's enjoying it. And, you know, he usually gets himself tense, or he would not maybe think that, but it looks like that from the outside. And I don't. Sometimes you see things from the outside because you understand where you have been and what you have done, and what maybe my feelings wouldn't be the same as his, but you understand how to finish a golf tournament and what kind of an attitude you need to come down the stretch. And I was trying to help him with that, and I don't know whether I helped him or not helped him, but he won.
All right. And Patrick, this is your second victory on the PGA Tour at a young age. You moved from number 12 to number 6 in the FedEx Cup, and so inside the Wyndham Rewards top 10. And also, you know, you've had a lot of top 10s this season. You must have felt like you were coming towards this victory. I mean, is that the way you were feeling, and now that you finally got it over the line?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I've had a lot of close calls since my last win, and I'm a little surprised it's taken me this long. And, you know, it feels really, really good to finish it off how I did today. I knew I had a little bit of a mountain to climb to start the day. A couple of guys ahead of me, 2 and 4 shots ahead of me, and guys that have played really well and closed out golf tournaments. So I knew that I needed to come out firing and make a bunch of birdies, and fortunately I did.
Congratulations. We'll take some questions. Just raise your hand and we'll get you a microphone. Let's start with Dave in the middle there, and then we'll come down to Karen in the front.
Congratulations. Great finish. And so just wanted to clarify, when you came here in 17 and Jack sort of walked you through the golf course, when did he talk to you about how to finish, and what parts of it really, I guess, resonated the most with what he said about how to finish?
Well, at 17, we talked golf course. So I went up to his house on property here, and we probably spent a good 90 minutes talking about what he thought strategy-wise and how to play the golf course, and I took a little insights from that. You know, one of the things I like about this golf course is it's pretty straightforward once you get to know it. You know when you hit a good shot, and good shots are rewarded, and bad shots, you know, they're bad shots, and it's going to be hard to scramble and make pars. So, you know, that helped me kind of get familiar with the place a little quicker than I maybe would have, and I played well the last 2 years. And then this year, I showed up, and I've been playing well all year. Hadn't been able to close out any tournaments, and I see Mr. Nicklaus in the men's grill in there, and, you know, quick hello, and then, you know, you got to figure out how to play those last 30 minutes. And he was right. I said, you're right. And then yesterday I was in there having lunch, or yesterday after my round, or no, Friday I was in there having lunch after the early morning round, Friday. And he grabbed me aside and said, you need to go out there, have a good time, look around when you're out there, look at all the people having a great time, and then you need to have a great time and realize that that's why you're there, and relax and go have fun, and go win the golf tournament. And I definitely said that to myself down the stretch today on the back nine. And it put me a little more at ease. And I hit a lot of really nice quality shots, with the lead coming down the stretch. And being able to get that ball up and down on 18, even though in the back of my mind thinking, probably just 2 putts, but I really did want to just close it out and have it be done right there. So being able to make that putt on the last hole is just a lot of confirmation of a lot of hard work I've been doing.
Did that also clear your mind, too, to be able to hit shots, I guess maybe not necessarily better, but be more relaxed in being to execute shots?
I wouldn't say that. I haven't really had a big lead or anything coming down any of these tournaments. I was kind of laughing with my caddy today, with Martin making all those birdies on the front nine, maybe around 8, 9, 10, 11. I was laughing with him. It seems like I've been in this Sunday position over and over and over again every Sunday, right around the lead, maybe a couple back. Feel like I need to make a couple birdies. Today I just did.
Karen?
Had anyone ever given you advice similar to what Jack told you yesterday? And if so, why do you think it stuck yesterday?
I think it's a culmination of a couple things. Hearing it from someone like Jack gives it a little more weight, a lot more weight. And then, honestly, just being in that position so many times this year, in the last year, I felt just a lot more like it was normal, and I was just a little more at ease. I really like the golf course here this week. I feel comfortable with all the lines. I know the shots to hit, and it's kind of a blend of all those things. My game felt really good all week. Even just hitting balls on the range this morning, it felt like every swing it was doing what I was looking for it to do. And it was the same out there, and I was able to stay in a positive frame of mind and execute all the shots I needed to coming down the stretch.
Good, Doug, and then Mark.
Sorry for 2 really simple ones first, and stop laughing, but what clubs did you hit on 11 and 15?
3-wood and 5-iron.
Okay. And secondly, Pat, as a guy who tends to look forward on everything in life, last year you didn't finish so well, didn't make a birdie on the back nine. Does something like that motivate you when you get here, or is it a brand new tournament?
Definitely coming back. I was looking for a little redemption this week, and that has to do with me feeling really comfortable on the golf course and liking it a lot. Not to mention I've been playing really well, so it feels like a win's been coming. I've been knocking on the door a lot, and that's what you need to do. You always got to put yourself in contention, and you start winning a couple, and you figure out how to do it, and hopefully it keeps happening.
Mark, and then Ben.
Hey, Pat. Just kind of a twofold thing. One, you always have a very locked-in look on your face. I don't believe you smiled at all until you rolled that putt in on 18, despite Jack's...
At 15 he did.
What's that?
He did at 15.
15. So I just wonder, do you know what you're... people have got their hands out. You're not... you're very dialed in. Are you aware that that's kind of the look that you're exuding? And just the second thing is, the second part of the question is, what is that moment like, because of the history we have with Jack, when you do walk up that hill and he's standing there waiting for you? Because that's obviously been a special moment for a lot of people here.
I understand that's my look. I try and be natural. So I try and be how I am all the time, and that's kind of how I am all the time. I was walking in this morning and somebody said, "It can't be that bad, can it?" And I don't even realize that that's the look on my face. I was in a great mood this morning. So I understand how you can say that, but I feel like if I tried to be any way else, it wouldn't be me. I'd be trying to force it. So I just try and be me out there. I definitely am focused and intent on what I'm doing, and I think that's part of me, and I think that's part of why I have success. The second part of your question.
Just that moment with Jack. I mean, you have a history with Jack. I was kind of curious.
Yeah, the relationship I have with Mr. Nicklaus is extremely special to me, and I appreciate all the time he spent giving me advice and trying to help me in any way that he can. He's definitely always had that inviting presence. If I wanted some advice, all I had to do was call and ask. And I can't thank him enough for that. And being able to close it out, especially after him, really encouraging me to do that, it feels great. It feels like validation of everything I've been working on.
If I can just ask a quick follow-up, have you dreamt about that moment, maybe dating back to when you were a freshman at UCLA, you've probably seen that TV, everybody walking up the hill with that wing. Is that something you visualized over the years, to have that moment for yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I think growing up watching golf as a kid, that's something that you definitely mark off as something you want to check off your list throughout your career. And being able to do that is really special for me, and I hope I can, do it again.
Ben?
He kind of stole my thunder, but I'll just add, were you surprised then when Jack brought it up to you about trying to enjoy things more, or were you like, yeah, I get where he's coming from?
I think he's very matter of fact, So
Yes, I am.
anything else would be fake, Oh, you've been playing nice work, blah, blah, blah. He wouldn't say that. He'd say, it's about time you win one. Yeah. And, gave me a little encouragement and not only, said that, but, gave me a little piece of advice that could help me do so.
And just to follow to you, Jack, is it extra special seeing someone who has won the Jack Nicklaus Award come and do this like Tiger had done and now Patrick?
Well, it may sound corny, but I think all those kids that won the award, a lot of them are playing here. They're all, in many ways, my children. They feel like my kids and so forth, and I love them all. I think they're all great, and I have different relationships with them. Patrick, he reminded me a lot of me, of being serious, and so I get so wrapped up in what I'm doing, I forget about everything else that's going on around me. And I learned years ago that when I got down, getting close to finish a tournament, maybe 2 or 3 holes or 4 holes left, I would stop, look around me, just exactly what he was saying earlier. Stop, look around me, say, take a nice big breath. It would relax me. I'd look around me and say, these people are here. They're having fun. I need to have fun. I need to enjoy winning this golf tournament, not torment me trying to finish the golf tournament. And all I was trying to do to pass on to Patrick is to try to get a more of a relaxed attitude in his head so that when he got himself in that position, it wasn't like, all this pressure's on top of me. And it was just a comment. And he may have resonated. It may have resonated with him. It may not have. I mean, he's sitting here in front of me, around. We're here talking, so everybody's going to say, "Oh, gee, Jack did this." So I didn't do anything. He won the golf tournament. He played well, but he did come down the stretch. And I mean, he played great putt at 15 from the back of that green, and then a lot closer to. He hit it up to the right of the hole, I guess, on 16, which is where you should hit it. Had a beautiful shot at 17 in there, just behind the hole, and then 18. I didn't see the second shot. I saw your second shot from where I was in a bunker, but I'm sitting there saying, well, once he hit the bunker shot, I knew the tournament was over, unless Adam, did something special. But it was basically no different advice that I would give any of the young guys. It was how I had to finish a golf tournament, and how I had to do things myself, and I see myself in these young guys, and I sit there and say, if I can help them and pass that along, maybe it'll help them. And if it did, that's great. If it didn't make any difference. He won the golf tournament. Either way.
Yes, sir. Jim?
Matt Minister is from here. Does that add anything to the glow of this victory for you? And as a follow-up, given what you've gone through with the caddy, how is this relationship brought you to a certain point?
Matt does such a great job making everything easy for me out there. We have a great relationship on and off the golf course, and he's a great caddy. I know I can always depend on him, and I know he feels at home here. being an Ohio State guy and growing up here too. So we have a different relationship than I had with my last caddy. He's a little older, and it's less of a best friend vibe and more of a somebody that is, guiding me around and looking out for me and maybe protecting me a little bit. So it's a little different. It's a little different vibe, but we're very close, and I can't thank him enough for all the hard work that he does to help me and us achieve our goals.
Good, Doug, and across to Rob.
A couple of things, Pat. Did you think after you won in Vegas, were you expecting it to open floodgates? Hate that phrase, but
Yeah,
wins it
I
more
did.
easily.
I really did. Being out for so long and be able to come back and play really well and then win, almost like within a year. Yeah, I did think. I didn't think it would take me this long, but I've played a lot of really good golf, a lot of really solid golf. And so I think I was closer than it seems. So maybe this one will do it.
And then secondly, and along those lines, actually, we look at you as 27, and we know how long you've been out here. But considering the 2 years you were out, does this almost feel 3? Excuse me. Does this almost feel like your third year on tour? Does it feel like you're kind of starting from that second point just because of familiarity and everything else?
I think because I got my card in 13-14 that season, it feels like I've been on tour for 6 years or whatever it is. But I haven't seen all the golf courses that many times. And I can't tell you how big of a difference it is coming to this place for the third time than coming to the place for the first or even the second time. And that goes the same for a lot of places. Like I didn't feel like I played great at Hilton Head this year. I was kind of like struggling a little bit, but I finished, I think, third or fourth or something like that. So there's certain golf courses that I really like, and having been there now a couple times, they just seem a lot easier because I know where to hit it. I know where my shots are going to end up, where I need to leave the golf ball. And from that point of view, it really is my third year on tour. It's just taken me 7 years to do it.
How much golf did you play at Pebble?
I've played the tournament 2 or 3 times. I really like Pebble. I think it's a great golf course.
Played as a kid?
No, never have.
Did they have a state amateur there?
The state amateur was not there. They stopped playing the state amateur there probably 2007 or 8.
Did they?
Yeah. So I really like Pebble Beach. It looks like we're going to get good weather for it, so they can make it firm. They can make it however they want.
Rob.
Patrick, if I have this right, you sat down with Jack in 2017 for 90 minutes. Is that about right?
Yep.
And you just talked golf course. How much did that impact you moving forward? Like how to play every hole? Did you go through everything? What did you go through during that time?
Yeah, we went through every hole and kind of what he was thinking design-wise and what shots he thought were the correct shots to play and how to kind of dissect every hole in a couple different hole locations. And this place is similar to Augusta. I think it's obvious. You get a lot of the same hole locations year after year after year, and there's a lot of feeding shots where if you know where to land the golf ball, it'll feed to the hole. So playing out of the fairway is really important, and knowing what shape you want and where your land spot is to get the ball close to the hole. That's not necessarily, flying it right next to the hole. So there's a lot of shots where you land them maybe 30 feet away from the hole and they feed down in there close. So figuring all that out is huge around this place.
We'll go Evan, then Gary.
Patrick, do you think you've had to overcome some challenges off the course in your career? Do you think they've made you more resilient as a golfer?
I get asked questions a lot about how the difficulties with my friend Chris dying and with being out so long with my back, how it affects me now. I'm definitely a different person than I was before I went through any of those troubles. I'm definitely a different person. And I can remember feeling happy-go-lucky, like everything's going to go good. And I can remember thinking that, it's just up and up and up. Good things just keep happening. You keep doing good work and good things are going to happen. And during that time, I realized that you can put in a lot of good work and good things might, still might not necessarily happen. But I don't really connect the two when it comes to playing golf again. It changed me as a person, not just as a golfer. It doesn't really affect me, as a golfer. I feel like I picked up kind of where I left off in my golf, and I still feel, even though I'm a little older, still feel like I'm getting started in my career and figuring it all out. But I don't necessarily connect the struggles to golf, and I in my brain, I'm very resolute on that because that stuff changed me as a person. It was so much bigger than golf was, that it's just not, it's not even in the same league, so it doesn't affect the golf.
Follow up? You need to follow up?
Yeah, and sorry, Jack, just to ask you a question. Martin and Adam Scott are both in significant wind droughts. Do you have any...
Sorry?
So Martin Keimer and Adam Scott are both in significant wind droughts at the moment. Do you have any advice, or how do you relate to that? How do they get themselves out of that kind of that form?
I still don't understand what you're asking.
Keimer,
I know
Do you have any advice for Adam
What
Scott?
about him? What about
the wind droughts.
Oh, they're wind droughts.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
The
Well,
accent.
I tried never to have any. That's the first thing. And when you haven't had one for a while, it is more difficult. No question about it. I think Adam Scott played really, really well today. He was around the hole all day long and really, really played well. Martin Keimer played fantastic until, where did he make that first mistake? Nine. He played a second shot at 9 he probably shouldn't have played. He didn't hit a very good tee shot, probably should have just pitched it out. And he did the same thing. He really put himself out of the tournament. I think it was second shot at 15. I mean, he's in the right rough in a bad lie, tries to slice the ball out of the heavy rough onto the green, hits in the water. And I mean, it just when you haven't won for a while, you have a tendency to want to press. And Adam was very patient. Adam played a good round of golf today. He said to me on the 18th green, I said, "You played well today." I said, "Yeah, I did." He said, "But I ran into a 64," which is exactly what he did. And he played very well. He played well enough to win the golf tournament. If Patrick had not been there, he would have won the golf tournament. Martin, on the other hand, made some mistakes that he'll look back on them and say, I really didn't need to do that. I could have pitched it out at 9 and put the ball up around the hole and give myself a really good chance for par. And I should never have done what I did at 15. Should have put it down there. And where the pin was at 15, I mean, from the short iron shot, the ball's going to funnel right to the hole. So it's not a very hard second or third shot. And that cost him several shots. But you press when you haven't won. And the whole idea, part of what I was talking about Patrick earlier in the week, is that you've got to be patient with yourself. You've got to realize the other guys out there are having as many problems as you are, and you can't win a golf tournament on one hole or with one shot, but you can sure lose it. So the change of that is not so much, not Adam, because he did a good job, but Martin will need to go back and look at his round and say, I really had this thing in pretty good shape, and I really caused most of my own problems. And because he played beautifully the whole week, except for basically those 2 holes.
All right, we'll go Gary and then Rex.
Patrick, after you run a good play, the Masters, all your contention, winning this week, how much better prepared do you feel you are now to win a major? How big of a goal is that? And maybe when you're done, Jack could comment on how you think Patrick's game sets up for majors.
It's definitely a huge goal. I think anybody that is out here playing and in contention realizes that that's why we play, and there's really no way around that. I really like major championship golf. I feel like it suits my game. I feel like the golf courses, as far as I'm concerned, the rough can't be long enough, the fairways can't be narrow enough, the greens can't be fast enough, and so I love golf like that. So every week I look for that in a major, and playing well at Augusta and playing well at the PGA. You know, I didn't win either of those weeks, but I played really well. It helps. It helps me feel comfortable and confident going into the week, and I really like Pebble Beach. It's a golf course I've played multiple times, and I feel really comfortable around there, and I'm excited to see what it looks like.
What was your part with Jack?
Well, you know, I think that Patrick, in some ways, not totally, but I think I think Brooks plays much like you do. Brooks is a strong player, plays hard, and doesn't back off. I haven't seen Patrick back off. He's played pretty aggressive all the time, and his style, you know, he'll have to temper that style a little bit at times. Pebble's a course that you can get yourself in a certain in a couple positions that you need to back off on. You get too aggressive, all of a sudden it multiplies, and I think this golf course does that too. It multiplies real quick. You saw it happen. Bud Colley yesterday, who was really playing very well, and he made 2 doubles on the back 9, and of course just multiplied real quick into getting away from him. But his game is very suited for a major. He drives the ball very straight. His iron game is obviously very good. He's got a good attitude. He's very. He's not trying to do something flashy. He's trying to play good, solid golf, and that's really what it takes to play major championship golf.
We'll go to Rex, and then we'll wrap it up with Karen.
Patrick, what do you remember, if anything at all, from being here in 2011, getting the award and being with Jack, maybe walking around the golf course?
I came to accept the award, and it was quick, maybe an hour or so, and then I had to run over to Brookside.
You played the Open qualifier.
Because I was playing the sectional qualifier the next day, so I only was able to. I played one of the golf courses, and I wasn't able to play the other. But and then I qualified the next day, so it was more like it was a practice round day for me.
Karen.
You're a California kid through and through. How did you wind up in South Florida?
You know, there's a lot of guys that live there. Playing on Bermuda grass is important, and it's just easier to travel the tour out of Florida. All the events are on the East Coast, and you know, I like being able to travel the West Coast tournaments out of California, and then the majority of the year out of Florida.
One last one from Doug.
You go to number 8 in the world with this win. Is that where you feel you belong?
It's such a long ranking, right? The 2-year ranking, and you know, there's whispers of different biases here and there on the point system. I don't really worry about it. I know my form's really good. I know I'm going to be in all the biggest tournaments, and I'm going to show up there. I'm going to get extremely prepared, and I'm going to be ready to win.
Mr. Nicklaus, thanks
I
again.
think he's number 1 in the world today. No, number 8, right?
Thanks again, Mr. Nicklaus, for being a wonderful host, and we hope that the Nationwide Children's Hospital benefits greatly
Thanks
from
to
the
all of you,
tournament.
Joe, for
And Patrick,
being here and helping.
congratulations on a great victory.
Thank you.
Thank you.